Hi guys, so today I'm just going to do a little review on my new winter 4-season sleeping bag. Generally for most of my camping I use a very cheap bag. Couldn't even tell you the name of it, but it compresses down to about that, but it's only a 2-season bag, and to be perfectly honest it's great for the warmer weather. However, I've decided to do more wild camping, and I've decided to do some winter camping as well. So I needed to get a sleeping bag that was a little bit better for that activity. And after doing quite a bit of research, I was looking at buying a ex-army sleeping bag because of the sort of warmth qualities of those bags and the robustness. And when I went to have a look at them, perfectly fine, really good, and plenty of them in army surplus stores. In the end, they were just a bit too bulky, and obviously the ones I looked at were pretty well used. So in the end, after a bit of research, I found a company called Snugpak, which many of you might be aware of. And Snugpak is a British company. It's been around since the 70s, and it makes, it produces all sorts of camping equipment and outdoor stuff. It's based over in Yorkshire, and it still has manufacturing in this country, although I think that the bag that I've bought is manufactured elsewhere. But certainly when I looked into it, I found the bag that I've ultimately bought, and that's Snugpak Softie Elite 4. And this is a bag which you can see here, like an olive army colouring. It's designed so that, well, as I understand from them and from others, that Snugpak is a product that many of our military, both in terms of ordinary military and special forces, buy products from Snugpak. So this bag is designed with them in mind, and it has some of the same features that an army military bag would have. And I'll go through the features when I lay the bag out. But just to give you an initial view, it's a mummy style bag, and it's bulky compared to what I'm used to. This is the stuff sack for it, and I'll put a picture up of the actual bag with the sleeping bag in, but that's effectively the stuff sack. Obviously nice heavy duty, really good strapping points, and you know, really good from a point of view of design and strength in being able to compress the bag down. And I have actually used the bag. I've used it a couple of times now, and both occasions it was very cold. One occasion it was down to sort of freezing. And I've got to say that the bag has performed fantastically for me. In fact, on the 2 occasions I've used it, it was a little bit almost too warm, but of course that can be dealt with by just slightly unzipping, letting a little bit of air in, but really effective. So I want to just go through some sort of details with you, and you know, my memory is not what it used to be, so I'm going to go on the website and have a look. But the weight of the sleeping bag within its stuff sack is just under 2 kilograms, which is quite heavy actually, although when it compresses down it's not that bulky. So it's 1,950 grams. The comfort rating is -10 degree down to -10 degree centigrade. So for all of everything that I will do, -10 will be sufficient for me. Obviously you can get bags that will go down. I think they sell bags that will go down even further, but but this one here, -10, is more than sufficient for me. And that's a comfort rating, -10, so you're comfortable down to -10. And it shows a low rating of -15. So it's good for from sort of down to -10, -15, which should be good enough for most of us for what we do. They use a polyester material for the actual bag itself, and that's 100% polyester, and it's called Paratex Micro, and I believe that is a lightweight product. The inner fabric is also Paratec, except it's Paratec Light, and then it's got reflector therm. So without looking further, I suspect that means it's obviously there to reflect the warmth of your body back into the bag, to keep you warm. They use a material which is called Softy for insulation, and again, from what I understand, that mimics the natural fibres of wool to give a better insulation. It's a mummy bag, but the one clever thing about it is it has the zip that comes down has a large baffle to keep the warmth in, but you can actually unzip it from the standard zip and expand it where the muffle comes out, and I'll show you this later, but you can expand it out to make it a bigger bag. Oh, the other thing that's quite useful, albeit I used it in its full length, and it was fine for me, and I'm 5'9", and there was bags of room, to be honest, there was loads of room. But if you are, shorter stature, you can actually shorten the bag. And again, I'll show you when the bag's laid out. But that's useful just to keep it a bit warmer if you're of shorter stature. But 5'9", and it was perfect for me. There's lots of adjustment to get it around your shoulders and neck and around the hood. And I played around with that a little bit, but to be honest, it was a bit too warm for me, so I didn't really use all the zips to pull it down and hunker yourself down into it. There's an internal pocket, which is, I guess, useful if you want to use that. And the YKK side zips. So the side zips are YKK, which are really good quality and two-way. There's anti-snag fabric runs down the zips as well, and that looks pretty substantial. But in truth, it still snagged a bit when I used it. So, I guess it works, but you're always going to potentially snag it. So what we have in front of us is the bag laid out, and this is in its standard format, standard length, standard width. Bearing in mind that it does expand out widthwise and can be shortened lengthwise. But this is the standard sizes. We're looking at a length of 2.2 meters. Width at the chest height is 75 centimeters. Width at your knee height, sort of midway down, is 60 centimeters. And down at the foot end is 42 centimeters. It says within specification that the maximum user height is 205 centimeters, but I guess that just takes account of the little hood at the top for getting your head into. Now, when the baffle's deployed, that's the where the zips zip down, and you can actually move the zip onto onto the baffle, and it expands the bag out. So from its expanded baffle deployed sizes, obviously the length is the same. The chest side is 87.5 centimeters. At knee it's 72.5. Down at the foot it's still 42 centimeters. So we're at the head end of the sleeping bag. and as you can see, the hooded area is quite substantial, and you know, it's very difficult to portray, but the material feel inside is really comfortable. As I say, I've slept in it a couple of times in cold conditions, and it was superb. So just to show you that if the bag's in its fully closed standard orientation, you've got a little Velcro cover that comes across here just to hold everything nicely in place, and at the head of the sleeping bag where it meets the hood, this area here can be, like a lot of sleeping bags, can be drawn in like that to the point that you can get it right round your neck. I didn't use it in that format because it would have been too hot, but if the conditions were even colder, then this is where you can actually draw everything down. Then once you've got that drawn down, you can actually draw the hood in like that, and you can really see how much of you would be showing to the world with this bag. All the toggles and the cords are of really nice heavy duty materials. It just has a really good feel to it, and I think with it being made with military personnel in mind, it's got to take the rigours of their use. So that's your bag in its standard orientation. So the zips, as I've mentioned, are really high quality zips, nice heavy duty, and it has this anti-snagging material sewn in there. It's got a lovely feel to it, nice quality, and I just want to show you the actual baffle that's in there. So this is the what they call the baffle, and gosh, I guess that's about 10 inches of baffle, which clearly is going to give you plenty of well, there's no cold going to come through that zip anyway when you've deployed the baffle. If it is conditions are a little bit warmer, or you want more room in the bag so that you can get air into it, then this zip that I've run down here, I'll actually show you that. You basically, that baffle that we've seen, the baffle actually then becomes the actual outer edge of the sleeping bag. So that's the zip down to its southernmost point in the bag, and what you do there is, if you look, so that's the zip that it runs up to bring the bag in its standard positioning. But what we're going to do is we're going to swap the zip onto the baffle, because there's an extra runner on the baffle. So that's your standard, that's standard, and then you bring the baffle out, and that's what you move it to. So we're just going to put that straight onto there. Let's hope this works. It did work while I was away because I was trying this. So just basically you're swapping the runner. There you go. That's how easy it is. So so now when we're zipping up now, if that shows you properly. So while we're zipping it up now, you've got the expansion panel to make the bag wider, and that gets wider as it goes more towards the top, clearly. So the anti-snag does work. I mean, I know it does snag now and again, but that's just pulled up all the way without any snag at all. And so at the top, the very top of the bag, that's how much bigger this bag has become. So it obviously narrows down as it goes to the foot, but at the top, and certainly for half of the bag, it's running at a much wider just narrowing down towards the bottom. So it gives you, that's an extra sort of 10 inches at the top of sleeping bag. So I think the thing is now, it's probably worthwhile me showing you inside the bag just to give you a perspective of that. And then the final thing to show you will be the shortening of the bag. So well, that's what we're going to do now. Hello. It is really hot in this bag. Whew. No heating in the house, but bloody hell, it's warm. Anyway, it just gives you an idea with somebody inside. I've got the neck pulled up, not entirely tight, but pulled up most of the way. And I've got the head not pulled all the way, but most of the way. And from a point of view of the baffle panels, the baffle panels, the expansion bits, that leaves me with being able to lay on my back, arms flat down by my side, and actually probably with 2 or 3 inches between the side of the bag, my hands and my body. So in essence, there's room to shuffle about and to move around. There's also room to sort of toss and turn. So getting on your side. I'm just going to bring that off there now so I can see you. So there's plenty of room. Honestly, it's a really, really comfy bag. If I undo that, there we are. So that, guys, is the extra room I've got within the bag between me and the side wall. You can see the hand pushing out, and that's quite a bit of space. And the bottom end, still plenty of room, even though it's right at your foot end, it's still the same width. For a mummy bag, actually, there's bags, even in its standard format, there's still bags of room with it. So I'm going to just put it back to standard format, and then you can see how it is with me lying in it in standard format. It's lovely. So guys, that's now in its standard format, standard width, and there's still room for me to have my arms outstretched completely flat on the ground beside my body. There isn't necessarily extra gap. There's just enough room for me to get my arms flat out. And to be honest, there's still plenty of room for me. I'm say 5'9", and I am 90 kilogram. So 5'9", 90 kilogram. And there's bags of room for me. But remember, you've got that expansion panel if you're a little bit larger than me, but that's still room. I'm a bit of a side sleeper, so I toss and turn, but very much a side sleeper. And I would use a pillow, and I found that using the pillow underneath was best, because that's so comfortable, and you can get it wrapped around your head. So so that's in its standard format, and lying on my side, I've got room to move my arms about in there. Plenty of room to move my arms around, so quite happy with that. I'd be able to sleep with that, absolutely no problem. In fact, did do so, didn't I? Although I very quickly widened it and then had to zip down about that 6 inches just to get some air circulating, because as I am with this bag at the moment, and bearing in mind I'm in the house, so it's quite warm, just naturally warm, I'm getting very warm in this bag. So that's it. That's the bag. And as I say, I'm very happy with it. I don't think I would use this in summer. It would be a little bit too warm in summer. Although you could just have it zipped completely open, I suppose. But I have got a lightweight one for that. Oh, another little feature, just show the thinking. The Velcro tab that goes over just to pull it all together, it has another bit of Velcro on its own tab, so you can Velcro it to itself, so it doesn't start catching as you're trying to move things around.
Obviously the zip you can use, it's dual zip, so you can use it from the outside or you can use it from the inside. Works on either side, outside or inside. And I just have the one more thing to show you, and I'll just show you at the bottom end. So this is the bottom of the bag, the foot end of the bag, and as I say, it's 2.2 meters in length, and it's designed so that you can actually shorten the bag. And to do that, you'll see that there's a couple of hooks on the bottom, and there's a couple of connecting points about a quarter of the way up. So the idea is, if you want to shorten the bag, you literally just, these are quite heavy duty, they're really good good fixings, and you just attach the hook to the connector, and that gives you a shortened bag. So if you're not very tall and you still want to use something like this, but you don't want all that space at the bottom which could potentially get cool or cooler, you can actually turn it over, connect that, and it shortens the bag. So guys, I just thought I'd show you the bag getting put away into the stuff sack, and it's quite useful to have it over a knee if you can, just so that you can control the flow of the bag into the stuff sack. So just a case of stuffing it in and just turning it around slightly as you're doing that. The stuff sack, that is. Got to remember not to leave your sleeping bag in their stuff sacks over periods of non-use, and that way you will prolong its life in terms of its ability to keep you warm. And always put the bag in via the foot end so that air can be expelled out as you're stuffing it in. So for a big bag, it does actually go in really well. Now I'm going to put it down on the floor because that way I can give it a final push down, and then we just get the cord pulled around. There's a little flap like you often find just to give it some cover, and then you can compress it down. I've already mentioned these straps, but they are heavy duty. They're nice heavy duty straps, so we can just compress that down. Just make sure everything's straight actually. Yeah, these are quite nice. They're attached on a slider, and you just pull them down to get that bag compressed. And you can only compress it down as far as these buckles here will go, and that's, you know, that's the compression you want to do. You don't want to go any further than that. That's why they designed those, to hold it in place. So that, guys, is your Softie Elite 4 in its stuff sack. And you know, even though it's bulky compared to what I would normally use, it's not too bad if you look at it from a point of view of, you know, where my hand is. So that's the width of it, and the length of it, basically 2 hands. Yeah, very impressed with that. I'll put up the actual measurements of the bag in its compressed condition on the actual screen. But yeah, very happy with that, and look forward to using it further. Thanks for watching.